bear with me. And just put on your seatbelt, because this is going to shock you. You probably never heard this. The person in charge is white, male, American born, that claims to be Christian. We like to scream social justice, and we love to yell justice, but it's really just distracting us from who's really in charge. Social justice is not about actual justice. It's literally just that, distraction.
Distracting from what?
Distracting from who's really in charge.
Yeah, I am kind of at my wit's end with the social justice movements, honestly.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because I think, especially as Black people and majority as minorities, I don't think that we do enough research to understand what it is that we're backing and understand what it is that we are representing and how that impacts how we navigate in society.
Yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong with what social justice is supposed to be, right? Because we understand and we actually know that there is, some discrepancies and some disadvantages that minorities face across the United States. But I think that we're distracted with what social justice has become.
Yeah, because we correlate it directly to racism most of the time.
Exactly.
When social justice is actually a blanket statement for so many things that can fall under that category. We have gender wars. We have all type of different, causes that can operate under the title of social justice.
Yeah, you have racism. You have gender wars, male versus female. You have LGBTQ, and then that trickles down to children, and then that trickles down to how do we take care of the children, which trickles down to income. So social justice can literally just be all here.
All the interactions that we have in our daily socialization.
You have to understand what social justice, the term, what it actually is, right? And truthfully, social justice in itself is really just ideology. And that's the reason why it's so scattered all over. We need to throw out the word social justice. But what do you think about this? What do you think that we should do about social justice?
I think that we should start first, especially we're Black, so we kind of come from a Black perspective. It's not only to Black people, but I think that specifically Black people have to learn their rights.
Yeah.
I think that we as a people don't know our rights, and so then when you find yourself in nuances that are correlated to things that might appear to be racial discrimination, we can use police brutality as a starting point. We find that in non-lethal interactions, for Black people, they actually do result in imprisonment more often, right? And why is that? It's because an ordinary traffic stop can easily lead to imprisonment or unlawful searches or all type of things, all different disparities based on the fact that we don't know our rights. And so I think as people, we need to be not only educating ourselves, but especially educating our children and our youth, whether they're 5, 15, or into adulthood, because with that, we can spread this information to help our fellow citizen to protect themselves.
Yeah, and the reason that it's important for us to learn our rights, specifically speaking about traffic stops, right, is because almost 25% increase if a Black or a brown person is behind the wheel, they have almost a 25% increase in getting stopped. Right. So that means we need to be 25% more prepared. Do you understand? Yeah. Because of the simple fact that it is almost a 25% increase in getting stopped. That means we need to be 25% better. We need to be 30% better than the average person, so that way when we do get stopped, we understand the reason for the stops, we understand why we got stopped, and we understand what was wrong about the stop. And when we understand what's wrong about the stop, a lot of times it'll stop the police in their tracks, and so
they don't expect you to know.
Exactly.
And also you have to realize that a lot of times you're being fed false narratives, because For instance, we can use the George Floyd execution, really, and through that there was a lot of public outrage, as it should be, but from that we use that to say, oh, this happens very often. And actually it doesn't. Yes, we're disproportionate in the population in correlation to white people, but overall majority of interactions with minorities from police normally don't end in anything fatal. It's more of the non-lethal, like I said, the non-lethal interactions that we need to be educated about. So we have to not allow ourselves to be pushed into these actions that can lead to our narratives and our image being destroyed based on things that are actually not true.
Yeah, and if I'm being honest, specifically speaking about the George Floyd situation, right? I honestly blame media for that, right? Because the media plasters this, right, to make it an outrage, right? And it makes it even me, when I seen it happen, right, you watch it, you get emotional, you see something happen like this and you're like, how could this happen? How could this always happen, right?
Why did they do that?
Yeah, because they want to distract us from what's really going on, and they want to separate us, right? The people who are at the top, they're separating the people at the bottom based off of race, right? And that's the distraction. So they say, okay, this happened. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to focus on the race war, right? Instead of focusing on the police department.
Right.
Focus on the police department. The first thing that they did, instead of focusing on the police department, is focus on blacks versus whites. No, you should have focused. The first thing you should focus on as a media, if you're truly trying to be in the correct way, morally correct, you focus on the police department. Why is your police department trained this way? Why is your police department the one that's under this microscope? Why is your police department under this investigation? That's what they should be focused on, not separating blacks versus whites. And they're trying to distract us, and we fall into the trap. Not even just us, we fall into the trap, white people fall into the trap, and then we butt heads, right? No, black people, white people, brown people, we all should be saying, this is not a us problem, this is a police problem. This is
a government problem.
This is a police and government problem. Why is your police department acting like this? That's the issue. And
that was another point. The point that I started with. We have to vote.
Yeah.
Guys, we have to vote, not just in the presidential election. You have to vote for the judges. You have to vote for the sheriffs. You have to vote for the schools,
the mayors,
the school boards. You have to vote in all of these small elections, because you don't have the right to speak on any type of imbalances you find in your local establishments, because you're not participating and using your voice.
Exactly.
I just think that we have to do better, but not in a victim mentality way. You have to start to say, I control a lot of these narratives, especially like something as simple as our image in unity for black people. You cannot be upset that you are getting stereotyped. You can't be upset when people act a certain way towards you, because they've been fed, they have been fed an image about what we represent and how we get down.
Yeah.
And then you go and you perpetuate that image and you support the things that they already believe about you. And it's like, well, they should never believe that from the beginning. But there are so many things that away from racism that we believe, and we never fact check. We never do any research. People scroll on TikTok all the time.
Yeah.
How many times do you see someone on TikTok and be like, I didn't know that? And it's actually not even true.
Exactly.
It's false. But our brains now are conditioned to get information very quickly and move forward. So we're
without fact checking.
So we're even more susceptible. White people, other races are more susceptible to being fooled or conned into believing who they are. How we're represented in media and propaganda versus who we actually are. And so I would even go as far as to say, every time a black person is seen in public forums, in public institutions, in anywhere, you should be wearing a suit. You should be walking around in your most polished, pristine attire. and you're like, oh, well, I don't need to prove anything. It's not about proving anything to other people. It's about self-esteem, esteem in ourselves, walking around as the value that we actually find within ourselves. We all say that we're valuable, and we're all fighting for equality. And honestly, we want to have a superiority over other people because we feel like we're owed reparations, and we feel like we're owed things because we built the nation, right? But at the end of the day, we don't represent ourselves to hold that caliber.
Yeah. And I would say it's even deeper than just the self-esteem part. I would say it destroys the narrative, right? When a man, specifically a black man, when he goes out in a suit, right? He's going to look a certain way. He's going to be treated a certain way. He's going to be treated, as if he is the king that's wearing the suit, right? A black woman, she goes out in a nice dress, has her hair done in some heels. She's going to be treated and she's going to look as if the queen she is supposed to be, right? But when we don't hold ourselves to that standard and say, well, I like to wear t-shirts. I understand we all like to be comfortable, right? But think about it this way. We have to destroy the stereotype. We have to destroy the image, right? In their minds, they have an image of how we look. In order to destroy that image, we have to create a new one. And the only way to create a new one is to be as polished as you can present yourself. If if you don't have a suit, wear a polo, wear a button up. Some people may not have suits, but as a man, wear a button up, wear a polo, tuck your shirt in. And it doesn't mean that you're whitewashed. It means you're polished. It means you're ready for the world. It means you're ready for the job. It means you look like six figures. It means you look like the next millionaire. It's not whitewash to look like you're polished. Understand that.
And also for the women, y'all see me, I have a fro.
Yeah.
It's not unpolished. It's not unprofessional.
Exactly.
The thing is, it's about how you present it.
Yes.
If you walk around with a t-shirt and you don't put any product in your hair and you don't lotion your skin, we're black. We get ashy. You know what I'm saying? You have to do these things because there's a certain protocol for us to look polished. Yeah. It's different than other races. I'm sorry. Anybody who tells you that you should be able to just go out and do this and do that and it shouldn't matter, they're lying to you. They're your enemy.
Exactly.
It takes a little bit more work because we have more texture, we have darker skin, and those things matter in the way that we're presented. And it's not just about your physical image. Even the media that we're producing, whether it be the books we write, the music we prepare, and our image that we put on social media and the messages that we deliver on social media, like, y'all have to do a better job of what comes out of your mouth, what comes from your creative mind, because those things also represent us as a whole. And then you ask yourself, why does this person care about what I'm doing? It's not her business. I'm grown. I should be able to do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
Well, it's because we have to hold each other accountable.
Yep.
We're sitting here speaking to you today because we are holding you accountable. You should not walk around and feel comfortable looking mediocre all the way down to hood. And that's a real thing, y'all. You say you want to identify with these stereotypes and try to make the word something that serves you. Those things don't serve you. Ghetto don't serve you. Hood don't serve you. Ratchet don't serve you. Those words are diminishing to you. You want to call yourself a ninja? Call yourself hood, ratchet, and ghetto. It's basically the same thing at this point. We can't glamorize things that are not serving us.
Yeah. And talking about this, I want to, transition us into why social justice, doesn't serve us, right? And it's because we're misunderstanding social justice. Social justice is so broad, and that's the reason why you hear that word so much. It's not just racism. Social justice is so broad. It could be literally about anything that we find is injustice, unjust, or we find is, not equal, right? And that could literally be anything. That's why it's so broad. We have to throw out the word social. We're going to take it and we're going to throw it out. Throw out social justice. We need to focus on equality and equity. That's a big difference between social justice, because social justice is too broad. And that's the reason why they make us stick to that word social justice, because it's so broad that it'll never resolve anything. You don't get solutions from a broad idea, right? You have to break down ideas to get solutions. So we need to focus on equality and equity. What is equality? I'll make it simple. Equality is literally uniform. Think about, we all wear the same uniforms, right? We all have the same uniforms. If we got to go to school, everybody got blue collar shirts on. That's equality. Think about equity. Equity is literally fair. Equity is fairness. So you have uniform and you have fairness. I truly believe that fairness is better than uniform. Why? Because if we're being honest, we don't want equality the way that we think that we do. And how do I know this? Because like I just said, equality means uniform. If I told you, okay, everybody now is going to get paid the exact same uniform. That's your uniform. Your uniform is no matter if you're the manager, no matter if you're the janitor, no matter if you're the CEO.
How hard you work.
No, how hard you work or how hard less you work, you all get paid the same. That's uniform. We don't want equality. Trust me. Look up the real definition of equality. We don't want uniform. We don't want communism. We don't want this. So now, guess what we're going to do? We threw social justice out. Let's throw equality out. Because we all have the rights to go to the same schools. We all have the rights to go to the same colleges. We all have the rights to go to the same jobs, go to the same restaurants. So let's throw out equality in 2025. Throw that out. We can all eat at the same places. We need to focus and dial in on equity, fairness. And what's not fair is a school over to the left that has a 98% graduation rate, and then the school to the right has a 70% graduation rate. These two schools are different. Why? Because the fairness of the funding. You don't need these schools over here who has a 98% graduation rate continuing to get overfunded. Take their funding and give it to the school that has a 70% graduation rate. That is fair. Why? Because if you give them the money, they can bring their rates up, which means then they can graduate at the same rates, which means it's an equal and fair playing field. So when this school to the left graduates and this school to the right graduates, they all have the fairness to get into the same colleges. So we have to focus on equity. But the reason we don't focus on equity is because they distract us with equality and they distract us with social justice. Because like I said in the opening, they don't want us to ask the question, who is in charge? Who's in charge?
I want to know.
Who's in charge? I'll break it down. Bear with me. And just put on your seatbelt, because this is going to shock you. You probably never heard this. The person in charge is white, male, American born, that claims to be Christian. What does this mean? This means even if you check off the box of white, but you're not male, you're oppressed. This means that if you're not white, but you're male, you're oppressed. This means if you're white, male, but you're not American born, you're oppressed. So this means you have to check off 4 boxes for you to not be oppressed and to not have equal or equality, fairness or equality. These 4 boxes matter in America because that's what America was built on. That's who's in charge.
I can see why the black man is actually a threat then.
Yes.
Because he's the one who's
closest.
American born.
Exactly. The black man is such a threat.
American born and Christian.
Exactly.
He's just not white.
He's just not white. But that's why you see us slowly creeping up and they try to smack you down because the black man is on the heels of the white man. Why?
That makes sense.
Because we're almost the exact same. Almost. He's black.
He's Christian.
He's a male. He's Christian. And he's American born. So how do you destroy him if he's too close to your heels? Guess what? Oh, you're women though. Your women are women. So she's not white and she's a woman. She's double oppressed. Right? So if you're double oppressed or triple oppressed, I can hold you back because you got to go pick up your women before you can compete with me.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Before you compete with me.
Listen, which makes a lot of sense. Why we are experiencing now in 2025 with enlightenment, with more understanding of these topics, while we see a separation of our women and men.
Yes.
Because I feel I'm not a black man, but I would assume as a black man, I feel that I'm being held back by my women because I don't want to have to go pick up a lot of men, not all black men, but a lot of black men.
But you start to see it rise.
You're
seeing a rising of it. You're seeing a rising of it, and that's exactly what it is. The rising of it, of why black men are starting to date outside their race more than ever.
It's an easier
avenue. So if they could bring in, bring in an interracial couple, right? Hey, I may be black and a male and American born and Christian, but my woman's white. So I fit in. Now I fit in. I get the pass. And they say, fine. But if you come in with black woman, I don't know about that one, buddy. You went too far.
Yeah.
You went too far.
Because that is a whole image.
That is a whole image. Exactly. And that's the reason why they stick us to the broad word of social justice, because they don't want us to break down what it really is. What it really is white, male, American born, claims to be Christian. So this is what we need to focus on. We need to focus on how do we tackle these 4 tasks in order for it to be fair for all Americans. Doesn't matter if you're white woman, black male, black woman, or interracial, foreigners, doesn't matter. We need to tackle these 4 topics.
All right. We appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and
subscribe.
And we'll see you guys in the next one.